central ideas. By the end of this, you will pick these off in under a minute. No method yet. Watch me solve this first one cold. Read what the passage actually does. It opens by telling you what the trap does not do. It does not close the moment something lands on it. Then comes the rule. A single brush is ignored and only a second touch swings it shut. And then the payoff in the last lines. A raindrop rarely strikes twice that fast, and a struggling insect almost always does. So say the point in your own words before you look at a single choice. The waiting is a filter. The trap holds off so that it only closes on food. Now the choices. A says the inner surface is lined with stiff hairs. True, and it is one sentence of machinery, far too small to be the point. Cross it off. B says many kinds of plants can sense being touched. The passage never leaves this one plant, so B is bigger than the text it is meant to summarize. Set it aside. C says the trap snaps shut whenever anything brushes against it. That is the exact thing the opening line denies. Rule it out. D says the trap's two-touch rule keeps it from closing on things that are not prey. That is our sentence, and it names the reason. We keep that one. That one wins because it names the rule and the reason together. Each trap grabbed something real, a detail, a bigger subject, a reversal, and called it the main idea. The printable practice set for this exact type is free and pinned below. Subscribe and you will catch the next drop. Here is the system I just used. Check 1. Find the claim, the one sentence the whole text is built to support. It sits after a pivot like but, yet or in fact, or it waits in the final line. Check 2. Say the whole text in one sentence, your own words, before you read a single choice. Check 3. Match on scope. Keep the choice that covers your whole prediction and cut the 3 traps, too narrow, too broad, and distorted. Question 2. Check 1. Find the claim, and here it is not waiting at the end. The opening describes the mechanics, lending seed the way a library lends books and asking for seed back. Then one short sentence stops the passage cold. Those returns are the point. That is the author raising a hand. Everything after it explains what the returns build. Seed matched a little better to one town's ground every season, until the library is lending a variety the neighborhood itself has shaped. Check 2. Say it in one sentence. The returning seed slowly makes the stock local. To the choices. A say says the library lends seed and asks for seed in return. That is the setup. And the passage tells you outright the mechanics are not the point. Strike it. B says community programs strengthen the neighborhoods that run them. Nothing here is about programs in general. B is a side gauge. Away it goes. D says seed libraries have made commercial seed companies unnecessary. No seed company appears anywhere in this text. Knock it down. C says returned seed slowly turns the stock into a variety suited to local ground. That lands exactly on our prediction and it keeps the whole point. We lock it in. That one is right, because we found the claim where the author put it in the middle. The main idea is not always the last line. It is the sentence the rest of the text serves. Question 3, and this one is a person, not a study. Same 3 checks. She spends every Tuesday on the least glamorous page, the tide tables, the school lunch menus, the name of everyone in the valley who turns 90. Her friends tell her to drop the listings and chase a real story. And then comes the line that carries the whole passage. She asks them where else those things would be written down. Check 2. Say the whole text in one sentence. She keeps the small listings because the paper is the only place they exist. The final sentence proves her right when the mill closes. Now the choices, and 3 of them are built out of pieces that sound true. A says she would rather cover pleasant events than difficult news. The passage never says she avoids anything. That is a motive we invented. Cut it. C says newspapers in small towns are losing their reporters. One paper with one reporter is the setting, not the subject. Off the board. D says the mill closing was the most important story the Ledger ever ran. The passage never ranks a single story. Eliminate it. B says she prints the small listings because nothing else preserves them. That is her own answer, almost word for word. B holds. That one wins because in a character passage, the claim is usually the line where the character explains herself. Everything else on the page is there to test that explanation. Question 4, and it hides the claim behind a compliment. The opening hands you the familiar story. Rooftop gardens grow food, and a single roof really can produce a season of vegetables. Then the passage turns on one short line. That is not why the city pays for them. So the opening was a concession, not the point. What follows is the reason the money moves. A planted roof soaks up a heavy rain and lets it go slowly, keeping a surge out of drains that would otherwise spill into the river. Check 2. The city is buying stormwater, and the vegetables are a bonus. Check 3. Match on scope and watch what the traps are made of. B says rooftop gardens supply residents with fresh vegetables. That is the concession. The passage grants it so that it can set it aside. Cross it out. C says cities ought to invest far more heavily in green infrastructure. Nobody here recommends anything. The text explains a decision already made. Rule it out. D says planted roofs have put an end to overflows. Keeping a surge out is not ending them. That is a stretch well past the evidence. Strike it. A says the city funds these roofs mainly for holding back rain, not for growing food. Both halves in the right order. That is the winner here. That one is right because we read the pivot as a pivot. When a passage says this is not the reason, everything before it is bait, and the claim is whatever comes next. Question 5. The hardest of the day, and the claim has 2 moving parts. The opening is the old objection. Volunteer counts are too ragged, a retiree with binoculars is not a trained surveyor, and no 2 counters spend equal hours in the field. Then the turn. What changed was not the volunteers but the arithmetic. Now read the last sentence slowly, because it carries 2 things and not one. There are so many observers, covering ground no research team could ever staff. And each record is weighted for how long its counter was looking. Scale plus a correction for effort. Hold on to both. Check 3. Match on scope, and every trap here drops a half or stretches a word. A says volunteers identify birds more accurately than trained surveyors. The passage says the sloppiness cancels across many records, which is nearly the opposite. Cross it off. B says ornithologists long doubted volunteer counts. True, and it is the setup the passage exists to overturn. Half an idea. Set it aside. C says a large set of measurements is always more trustworthy than a small one. The word always breaks it, and size alone was never enough here. Knock it down. D says the counts became usable once scale and a weighting for effort offset their unevenness. Both parts kept. That one earns it. The winner is right because a half-correct answer on this test is a wrong answer. When the claim has 2 moving parts, your choice has to carry both of them. That is the method. Find the claim, say the whole text in one sentence, then match on scope and cut the narrow, the broad, and the distorted. 10 fresh questions of this exact type are waiting in the printable practice test linked in the pinned comment. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.